Over the past year, I have completed Halo 1 and 2 using melee only attacks, and it's now time to finish the fight. Now Halo 3 ends with the boss battle against Guilty Spark, and sadly, you must use the Spartan laser to take him down. But with the exception of this fight, can you beat Halo 3 using melee attacks only? Here are the rules for the run. First of all, I'm going to beat the campaign on heroic difficulty with no skulls on. Secondly, I'm only going to use melee attacks. Thirdly, I can use any equipment as long as it's not destructive. And finally, I cannot splatter or shoot enemies with vehicles. As usual, this is a blind playthrough. I haven't watched anyone attempt this run, but I'm sure someone else out there has done it before, so please support their videos as well. With that said, let's get smacking. Nap time was over, and it was time to explore the jungle with the boys. Punching enemies in this game was much more forgiving than the original Halo. Now most weapons are fun to punch with, but punching enemies with the brute shot makes me chuffed. The chunky bayonet slices through armor and decimates most enemies. But make no mistake, my shields are still made of tissue paper, and I have to be careful about when I time my attacks. After picking up an old energy sword off the ground, I used it to save the marine hostage, and then I went on a grunt killing spree. The broken energy sword was surprisingly efficient, and it was really helpful for smacking down enemies. But then the jackal snipers came out to play. Even when I thought I was safe, they somehow found the perfect angle to snipe me. I kept slicing my way through, took cover when I needed, and the arbiter took out the jackal. But there was more jungle and more jackals ahead.
Walking through the past, thinking I'm clear. Suddenly flash out rings in my ear. Didn't hear nothing, didn't see a soul. Just a beam through my dome, took a stroll through a hole. Man, that rifle don't miss, it's cursed. Got me laying in the dirt, feeling rehearsed. Back to checkpoint like it's Groundhog Day. Same spot, same shot, I die the same way. Beam rifle, he don't fight fair. One blink and I'm bleeding there. No time to duck, no time to pray. That jackal sniper took my soul away.
Some of the jackals are too high off the ground to punch, but the bubble shields kept dropping. So I ran from bubble to bubble until I could sneak away into the crevice. Sergeant Johnson was in a bit of a pickle, so a rescue operation was needed. The rescue was going pretty well, but then I got sniped again. I'm not even mad. Someone needs to promote that jackal. Stealth seemed like a more sensible option, but the chieftain absolutely wrecked me. But after a cheeky back massage, enemies started falling from the sky. With most of the enemies wiped out, I settled the score with the snipers, and after freeing Johnson from his cage, Sierra 117 was done. After meeting up with the commander,
Likewise, ma'am.
it was time to defend the base. My fist said hello to some grunts, and after stealing a brute shot, I sliced through the hallway jackals. Enemy phantoms were coming in, but through the clever use of a deployable cover, I was able to punch off the turrets and then slice through the reinforcements. The drones in the next section were a pain. The bubble shield provided some cover, but then I resorted to hit and run tactics. Things got pretty spicy, but I somehow survived, and with the help of the Marines, the swarm was taken down. The next room was chock-a-block filled with brutes. I honestly thought this would be a short section, but I was in for a rude shock. After many failed attempts, I used the grav lift to boost upwards towards the chieftain, and after smacking him down, his invincibility buff helped me clear a path. The bayonet carried me through the next few sections with no trouble at all. And after grabbing a cheeky camo, I was able to sneak into the ops center. With the help of a regenerator, I cleared the room, armed the bomb, crushed some skulls, and then I made my escape. It's time to go for a drive on Tsavo Highway. After choosing the objectively best warthog, I carefully made my escape from the base. My Google Maps wasn't working, and it led me down a wrong path. But I eventually weaved through the enemies, took down the shield gate, but then I sadly said goodbye to our car. It was a nice scenic walk through the savannah. I high-fived some brutes, and I stole their bike. After climbing the hillside, the end was in sight. But every brute wanted a piece of me, so I hid myself between some crates. Now I did some counting, and there are 18 enemies waiting for me in this little section, so it was going to be pretty tricky to take them all out in one go. After rushing the first brute, I picked up a brute shot, and I charged the battlefield. It'd be suicide to take them all on at once, so I waited for the perfect opportunity to strike. The brutes were dropping one by one, but I was surrounded on both sides. If I smack this giant crate, it's a portable shield. So like a lion, I slowly stalked my prey. I got close enough to take out the turret, and I took out a few more curious brutes. But there were still 6 big boys tightly packed together at the end, and I was too scared to take them all on at once. So, it was time to be sneaky again. Eventually, I moved the crate as far as it could go, and it came down to this final moment. After patiently waiting, I saw an opportunity to strike. Then I made my final attack on the leader. It took a lot of patience, but the highway was now clear. We had reached the town of Voi, but a storm was brewing. After smashing through the first squad of enemies, the bubble shields made it easy to clear out the tunnels. Using a ghost, I was able to catch up to some enemies, and then I took out a rival ghost gang. After giving the AA Wraith a back massage, I aggressively attacked the other Wraith. And I barely made it out with my life. The brute shot cleared out the next tunnel, and after getting rid of the Ghost Riders, the Scarab came out to play. I thought the brute shot could punch its legs, but its legs attacked me back. But in a rare big brain moment, I took a ghost up the lift, and I boarded the Scarab in style. I pressed the big button, and the Scarab was no more. After tearing through the brutes, the hunters came out to play. It hurts a lot if you get hit, but I was a stealthy boy. I got the drop down, and I took them both out. The brutes outside were having a regenerator party. Initially, I forgot my invitation, but I came back, and the chieftain let his guard down. The last objective is to take out the AA cannon. And after playing a short game of King of the Hill with the brutes, the Marines did the best they could to help out, but I pushed together some ammo crates, and with the extra height, I was able to just reach the battery. The level was done, and Floodgate awaits. It was time to fight the Flood. After finding a spiker on the ground, the blades at the front tore through the Flood. It was satisfying to be able to kill Flood in only 1 or 2 hits, compared to the 16 hits it took in Halo 1. Most of the level involves smacking Flood with the spiker and using regenerators when needed. Some elite bros dropped down to help out, and after finding an energy sword, I threw away the spiker and I picked up my best friend, the brute shot. The rest of the level was pretty much exactly the same. There was one interesting Flood boy who refused to die. He took 8 slices of the sword to take down, which I thought was very odd. I also had a personal vendetta against the Flood sniper. He was incredibly annoying. But I finally got my revenge. And there isn't anything else to really say. After grabbing Cortana, Floodgate was done. After travelling through the portal, we had arrived at the Ark. I tried being sneaky at first, but the brutes kept putting me down. After failing many times, rushing the brutes seemed to be the best strategy, and the combination of a bubble shield and a brute shot evened out the fight. The next section was pretty much the same, and after tapping out the hunters, a huge vehicle section was ahead. I managed to pull off one of the coolest vehicle boardings I have ever done. But sadly, I didn't get out of the way in time. After patiently waiting for the brutes to get close enough, I hijacked the prowler, but to my surprise, the brute instantly got back in. I've never seen this happen before. The brute boy just refused to leave. But the rent was due, so I finally evicted him from his turret. And after watching his mate do burnouts in the snow, I finally had peace and quiet. After riding shotgun, me and the boys are going to take down the Covenant. The next section felt like I was playing Grand Theft Auto. Sure, there were a few enemies I needed to punch, but I was addicted to hijacking vehicles. Now this big open area caused me a lot of pain. I got shot by the brutes. I got shredded by the turrets. I was sent to heaven by the Wraith. And I got erased by the ghosts. But after 2 hours of misery, here was my recipe for success. First of all, backtrack and get yourself a chopper. Use a boost and a bubble to take out the brutes. Get up close and high-five some turrets. Hijack away. Go to therapy. Hijack some more. Go for a hike in the mountains. Smack that Wraith. Play chicken with the ghost. And after some final smacks, the area should be nice and clear. While the Marines were busy playing with tanks, I continued my smacking spree. The ghost helped close the distance, and I used a clutch bubble shield to save my life. It was handy using the Wraith as a shield, and I was able to take out the turret, as well as a curious brute. After clearing out the remaining hostiles, another Scarab wanted to fight. I dialed an Uber to pick me up, then I continued to roleplay as an action hero. Boarding the Scarab was drama-free, and the rest of the level was close quarters melee combat, which my bayonet loved. There were some big boy brutes ahead, but the regenerators made the fight incredibly easy. And using camouflage, I was able to assassinate the chieftain, and after wiping out the jetpack boys, the arc was done. Let's save the galaxy. After storming the beach, the brute shot was mine again. It sliced through the turrets with ease, and the brutes were foolish enough to put some regenerators down. After taking out their commander and backsmacking the AA Wraith, it felt good going for a scenic drive. But there was no time to waste, and I continued my hijacking obsession. Using the Ghost, I stormed the base and took out the trash. There was a cheeky camo just sitting on the floor, and I used some hardcore parkour to skip to the elevator. I thought the camo would help me be a sneaky boy, but the brutes could smell my every move. But they threw another regenerator on the floor, and the whole pack was wiped out. The neurons in my brain lit up when I saw the number of jackal shields appear. I turned on the invincibility, and a shower of medals filled my screen. After a short ride back to the beach, it was time to take to the skies. The enemy wraiths were in sight, and I sliced my way through the defences. This tower was just a mass of bubble shields, and the brutes ran away in fear from my blade. Up top, the brutes decided to be sneaky, but the hunters became the prey. And after a short dance with the commander, the Flood joined the party. The broken sword was an absolute beast, and it decimated the Flood. And I was back on the road for some more quad biking adventures. But I took to the skies, pressed the magic button, and both scarabs were down. We made an uneasy alliance with the Flood, and after running into oncoming fire, I had a dance with the jetpack boys. The Flood had overwhelmed the remaining brutes, and my boy Arbiter got his revenge. After the least surprising betrayal in history, Arbiter and I sliced our way through the Flood, and with the help of some sentinels, the Covenant was defeated. Let's save Cortana. Now, this is my least favourite mission, but lucky for me, my brute shot from the previous level carried over, so at least I had a friend to guide me through. But another invincible Flood boy showed up, and he just would not die. After finding a sword on the ground, I could safely charge through the level without any concern. Now there was a lot of Flood, and some of the bigger boys wanted to play, but the sword carried me to safety. A perfectly timed camo helped me sneak past a wave of Flood boys, and after clearing out the reactor room, Cortana was back on the team. The Gravemind was not a happy boy, and he sent reinforcements to slow us down. But after taking out the reactors with a sword swipe, I made a daring escape, and Cortana was done, and it only took about 20 minutes. Let's finish the fight. It was raining Flood from the sky, and despite a few setbacks, the gravity hammer was awesome at clearing the path. Sadly, I ran out of ammo, and my hammer was reduced to a big stick. but my heart was filled with joy when I spotted my beautiful brute shot on the ground. The flood just kept coming and coming, but nothing could stop the brute shot from slaying the flood. After clearing the roof, the doors opened up and Guilty Spark got triggered. It was time to take down Gollum.
But this ring is mine.
I did a lot of testing and I couldn't find any way to get close to Spark without him pushing you away. So sadly, we will have to still use the Spartan laser to kill Spark. After 3 shots from the laser, Guilty Spark was scrapped, and we activated the Halo ring. Sadly, my brute shot was confiscated.
I am sorry, Spark.
But after some combat on the cliffs, I practiced safe distancing, and it was time for one final Warthog run. But I didn't want the Arbiter to cramp my style, so I opted for the Mongoose instead. Using some careful drifting skills, I made sure not to run over any flood. But my 6 skills were out of control, and I managed to wheelie myself to death. It was a hectic ride, and I felt like a pinball being thrown around the level. But the Mongoose made any jump feel so much more epic. The Sentinels tried to slow me down, but I was determined to finish the fight. And after one final beautiful jump, my Mongoose magically transformed into a Warthog, and the game was done. So there you go, Halo 3, using melee only, is done. Having beaten the original trilogy and Halo Reach using melee only, I can safely say that Halo 3 was the most fun to play. The melee combat has a good balance to it, and all the bladed brute weapons made it very satisfying to smack enemies. I had a lot of fun playing through this game, and I highly suggest you give this challenge a go the next time you play. Well, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. God bless.